Of the 9 people preparing for today's show, only one will take away prize money of up to £10,000. The others will leave with nothing, after their own teammates vote them the weakest link.
Welcome to the weakest link. Any of the 9 people here today could win up to £10,000. They don't know each other, however. If they want the prize money, they'll have to work as a team. But 8 of them will leave with nothing, as round by round we lose the player voted the weakest link. Let's meet the team.
I'm Nick, I'm 35 and a house husband from Loddeswell in South Devon.
I'm Susan, I'm 46, I'm a biochemist from Chester.
I'm Alan, 31, hairdresser from Hounslow.
I'm Adrian, I'm 28, I'm a restaurant manager from Derby.
I'm Julie, I'm 37, I'm a school secretary, I live near York.
I'm Roy, I'm 54, I'm a retired police officer from Winchester.
I'm Anna, I'm 22, I'm a student from Sheffield.
I'm Carol, I'm 53, I'm an internet shopping coordinator from Bognor Regis.
I'm Jimmy, I'm 40, I'm a public house manager from the Isle of Wight.
Now the rules. In each round the aim is to answer enough questions correctly to reach your £1,000 target within the time limit. The fastest way is to create a chain of 9 correct answers. Get your question wrong and you break the chain and you lose all the money in that chain. But if you say bank before the question is asked, the money is safe. However, you start a new chain from scratch. Remember, at the end of the round, only money that has been banked can be taken forward. In round 1, there are 3 minutes on the clock. We'll start with the person whose name is first, alphabetically. That's you, Adrian. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. In the animal kingdom, is a tench a fish or a frog?
A fish.
Correct. Julie, what B is a group of islands in the Atlantic Ocean that gained independence within the Commonwealth in 1973?
The lyrics.
Bahamas. Roy, 4 and 20 of what type of bird were baked in a pie according to the nursery rhyme?
Blackbirds.
Correct. Anna, in which Monty Python film does Graham Chapman play King Arthur and God?
Pass.
Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Carol, in maths add 4.5 to 5.5.
9.
10. Jimmy, in nature does the duck-billed platypus give birth to live young or lay eggs?
Lay eggs.
Correct. Nick, what A is the name given to the female superior of a nunnery or convent?
Abbess.
Correct. Susan, the San Andreas Fault runs for over 600 miles across which American state?
California.
Correct. Alan.
Bank.
Which British singer's album have included Faith and Listen Without Prejudice?
George Michael.
Correct. Adrian, in ancient literature was Horace a Roman or a Greek poet?
Greek.
Roman. Julie, in 1970 who succeeded Nasser as president of Egypt?
Pass.
Anwar Sadat. Roy, what P is the term applied to insecticides, fungicides and herbicides?
Pass.
Pesticides. Anna, in which 1980s time-travelling trilogy of films did Michael J. Fox star?
Back to the Future.
Correct. Carol, in the animal kingdom is a drake a male or a female duck?
It's a male duck.
Correct. Jimmy, which Asian country is Kabul the capital?
Pakistan.
Afghanistan. Nick, Good Morning Starshine and Aquarius are songs from which 1960s musical?
Hair.
Correct. Susan, in clothing, what L is the folded back continuation of a jacket collar?
Lapel.
Correct. Alan, how many moons does the planet Mars have, 1 or 2?
2.
Correct. Adrian,
Bang.
in politics, what R means to formally approve or confirm something?
Pass.
Ratify. Julie, in snooker, what is the maximum break achievable without penalties, 147 or 160?
147.
Correct. Roy, in which handle on Torrio does the Hallelujah chorus appear?
The Messiah.
Correct. Anna, on which Mediterranean island would you find the towns of Larnaca, Limassol and Nicosia?
Cyprus.
Correct. Carol, in literature, according to a Dickens novel first published in 1859, it was a tale of how many cities?
Tale of Two Cities.
Correct. Jimmy,
Bank.
add 14 to the square root of 49.
21.
Correct. Nick. The English admiral and explorer Sir Francis Drake was born in which century, the 16th or the 17th?
16th.
Correct. Susan.
Bang.
In the animal kingdom, what P is another name for the cougar or mountain lion?
Puma.
Correct. Alan. In which German city is the largest Gothic cathedral in Northern Europe?
Pass.
Cologne. Adrian. In transport, what B is a small post marking a traffic island? Time is up, team. And in that first round, you managed to bank £450. You could, of course, have won 1,000. Who already is appearing to be worryingly slow? Who might have been better staying at home? One of you is about to leave with nothing. It's time to vote off the weakest link.
After the first round, Julie is the weakest link statistically. The strongest link is Susan, who got all her questions right. But at this early stage in the game, how will the votes go?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Julie.
Julie.
Adrian.
Julie.
Alan.
Julie.
Roy.
Julie.
Julie.
Roy, how was that round for you?
Apart from not being able to remember the word pesticide, not too bad.
What do you do in your retirement?
I organise a lot of cricket.
Right.
Use that on cricket pitches too.
Do you not do any gardening?
Very little.
Just as well, since you don't know what a pesticide is. Carol, you work for a big supermarket.
I do, Anne, yes.
On the internet side.
Yes.
Doesn't involve any adding up, I hope.
Thankfully, no.
Oh, right. What did Julie do to upset you?
I think Julie is really, really frightened, very nervous, and she stumbled on some questions. I know I got the maths wrong, which nobody will ever forgive me for, but there you go.
Julie, statistically, you were the weakest link. And with 6 votes, the team have voted you the weakest link. Goodbye.
It was what I just didn't want to happen, but it happened, so it's the way the cookie crumbles. I think Adrian may be voted off next because he was quite hesitant and he also didn't know the answers to quite a few of his questions.
Round 2, team. So far you've won £450 out of a possible £1,000. There are 8 of you left. We are now taking 10 seconds off the clock. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Susan. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Susan, in 1960, Nan Winton was the first woman on BBC TV to do what?
Host a football match.
Read the news. Alan, does the USA contain approximately 5, 15 or 20% of the world's population?
15.
5. Adrian, in science, what C is used to speed up chemical reactions without itself changing?
Pass.
Catalyst. Roy, in the title of a Shakespeare play, what creature is being tamed?
A shrew.
Correct. Anna, who is the designer who established the Habitat stores in 1964?
Conran.
Correct. Carol, in film, Kathy Bates starred as the unsinkable Molly Brown in which James Cameron movie?
Titanic.
Correct. Jimmy,
Bank.
in which country was the model Claudia Schiffer born?
Germany.
Correct. Nick, what is the name of a ground almond paste used in cake decoration?
Marzipan.
Correct. Susan, inside the European Union, what is the highest mountain range?
In Russia. Pass.
The Alps. Alan, which flower has a Latin name meaning little sword because of its leaves?
Lily.
Gladiolus. Adrian, which metal is most commonly found in liquid thermometers?
Mercury.
Correct. Roy, what V is the hardening of rubber by heating it at high temperatures
Vulcanization.
with... Correct. Anna, which 1990s sitcom featured the social climbing Hyacinth Bouquet?
Keeping Up Appearances.
Correct. Carol, name the Australian outlaw of the 1870s who became famous for the homemade armour he wore during his robberies?
Ned Kelly.
Correct. Jimmy, which English city would you find between the rivers Plym and Tamar?
Plymouth.
Correct. Nick, in literature, who wrote verses and stories for his son, Christopher Robin?
Oh, pass.
A.A. Milne. Susan, in the animal kingdom, is a vixen a fox or a rabbit?
Fox.
Correct, Alan. In music, in the 1950s, Berry Gordy formed the most successful black-owned record company known by what name?
Motown.
Correct, Adrian. In which event did Jason Quealy become Britain's first gold medalist at the Sydney 2000
Cycling.
Olympics? Shooting or cycling? Cycling, correct. Roy,
Bang.
name the author of the 1932 classic novel Brave New World.
Aldous Huxley.
Correct, Anna. In which capital city might you visit the FBI building and the White House?
Washington.
Correct. Carol,
Bang.
which noted English dramatist and composer penned the songline Don't Put Your Daughter on the Stage, Mrs. Worthington?
Noel Coward.
Correct, Jimmy. In nature, 2 species of Ambrosia beetle have been responsible for the widespread destruction of which tree?
Elm.
Correct, Nick. John Wesley was the founder of which worldwide religious movement?
Methodist.
Correct. Susan, in the 1991 film Frankie and Johnny, who played Frankie alongside Al Pacino? Time is up. The answer was Michelle Pfeiffer, and in that round you did not do as well. You banked only £420, so that was another £1,000 target missed. Who is clearly a stumbling block? One of you is about to leave with nothing. It's time to vote off the weakest link.
This time, Alan is the weakest link statistically, having got only 1 question right. Carol is now the strongest link, having answered all her questions correctly. But did the other players pick up on that?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Adrian.
Adrian.
Carol.
Alan.
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 Adrian.
Nick! What did Adrian do to upset you?
I just thought he had a naff round, really.
A naff round?
Yes.
Did you have a naff round, Nick?
As far as A.A. Milne is concerned, very, yes.
Carol, things have looked up for you, haven't they? No adding up question.
No maths. No maths. No maths so far. So good.
Why Alan?
I just don't think he got anything right last time. That's all.
Well, he did actually answer 1 question correctly.
Okay.
Alan, statistics show you were the worst player. And with 4 votes, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
It's better than being voted off first. But I'd rather being voted off maybe 4th or 5th or gone right through to the end. But never mind, I enjoyed myself.
Round 3. Now, by this stage, you could have had £2,000 in the kitty, but you have less than half of that. 870 is your total. You are down to 7 players. We are taking another 10 seconds off the clock. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Carol. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Carol. Which aid to medical diagnosis was discovered by Wilhelm Röntgen?
The stethoscope.
X-rays. Jimmy, what name is given to the barrister's chambers Cherie Blair helped to set up, as well as the name of a 1999 science fiction film starring Keanu Reeves?
The Blair Witch Project.
Matrix. Nick, what aid describes any medication that neutralises stomach acid?
Antacid.
Correct. Susan. In classical music, a piano trio is a chamber ensemble usually consisting of a piano, a violin and what other instrument?
Viola.
Cello. Adrian, which London Underground station serves both Harrods and Harvey Nichols?
Knightsbridge.
Correct. Roy, which Scottish singer married B.G. Maurice Gibb in 1969?
Lulu.
Correct. Anna, what G is a type of British biscuit often known as a squash fly biscuit?
Garibaldi.
Correct. Carol, how old was James Dean when he died? 21, 24 or 26?
21.
24. Jimmy, who wrote verses on the death of Dr. Swift published in 1739?
No idea.
Jonathan Swift. Nick, in the animal kingdom, is a hobby a wader or a falcon?
It's a falcon.
Correct. Susan, what is the name of the French national anthem?
La Marseillaise.
Correct. Adrian.
Bank.
Amnesty International won the Nobel Peace Prize in which decade? The 1960s, 1970s or 1980s?
1970s.
Correct. Roy. Lisbon is the capital city of which European country?
Portugal.
Correct. Anna. In snooker, which ball has the higher value, brown or green?
Green.
Brown. Carol. In biology, does an anaerobic organism need oxygen to survive?
Yes.
No. Jimmy. In transport, what colour cat's eyes separate the lanes, leaving a motorway from the near side lane?
Green.
Correct. Nick. What 1993 film tells the story of a Jamaican bobsleigh team?
Oh, Cool Runnings.
Correct. Susan. Is Northern Ireland or Wales larger in terms of population?
Northern Ireland.
Wales. Adrian. To which family of flowering plants does aloe vera belong, the rose or the lily family?
The lily.
Correct. Roy.
Bank.
What name is given to a first-year student at an American university?
A sophomore.
Freshman. Anna. Which TV comic performs the characters Tim, Nice but Dim and Tory Boy?
Harry Enfield.
Correct. Carol. Does a comet's tail always point away from or towards the sun?
Away from.
Correct. Jimmy. Which American rock singer and guitarist played with the E Street Band?
Jimi Hendrix.
Bruce Springsteen. Nick, in the musical West Side Story was written... Time is up. I cannot complete the question. And in that round, team, you scraped a disgraceful £70. Who now has completely lost the plot? One of you is about to leave with nothing. It's time to vote off the weakest link.
In a reversal of fortune, Carol is now the weakest link. The strongest link is Adrian. But will the voting follow the facts?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Jimmy.
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 Adrian.
Carol.
Roy.
Roy.
Susan, what did Jimmy do to upset you?
Nothing at all. It was either me or Jimmy, and I couldn't vote for myself.
So, Jimmy, remind us what you do for a living.
I'm a public house manager.
Are you? In your public house, is there not much talk of Swift or Hazlitt?
I'm afraid not, no.
No. With 3 votes, Jimmy, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Thank you. I'm feeling a little bit upset because I felt I did well up until that round. Just one bad round and that's it. But I did get the Springsteen question wrong. I think Roy will be voted out very soon because I think he's slightly irritating and thinks he knows everything.
Round 4. By now, you could have had in your kitty £3,000. In fact, you have only 940. And in that last round, you banked a spectacularly low £70. There are 6 of you left. We are taking another 10 seconds off the clock. You now have just 2.5 minutes. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Adrian. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Adrian, which country lost football's Euro 2000 final in Holland?
Italy.
Correct. Roy, in nature, is the monkey puzzle tree a type of conifer?
Yes.
Correct. Anna, in film, Sir John Gielgud won an Oscar for playing Dudley Moore's butler in which 1981 comedy?
Arthur.
Correct. Carol, in what sport might a player snap the ball to the quarterback?
Baseball.
American football. Nick, what C is the name given to the white ball in a game of snooker?
Cue ball.
Correct. Susan, Mozart's Last Symphony number 41 is named after which planet?
Jupiter.
Correct. Adrian, what nationality was Hans Christian Andersen?
Danish.
Correct. Roy, in government, what do the letters DTI stand for?
Department of Trade and Industry.
Correct. Anna.
Bank.
In the animal kingdom, the dogfish belongs to which family of fish?
Shark.
Correct. Carol, the Chilterns are a notable feature of which English county?
Gloucestershire.
Buckinghamshire. Nick, the 1993 film What's Love Got to Do With It was about the stormy lives of which married American musical couple?
Ike and Tina Turner.
Correct, Susan. In food, what N is a confection of boiled syrup, beaten egg white, nuts and fruit?
Nougat.
Correct, Adrian. Which actor played Travis Bickle in the cult film Taxi Driver?
Pass.
Robert De Niro. Roy, in history, the Battle of Crécy was the first important land battle of which war between 1337 and 1453?
100 Years' War.
Correct, Anna. In politics, what S is a state that has no official ties to any religious movement?
Secular.
Correct, Carol. Is the Mojave Desert in the northern or southern hemisphere?
Southern.
Northern. Nick, which of these is not an Olympic event? Mountain biking, softball or netball?
Softball.
Netball. Susan, in which European capital city is the train station Tara Street?
Lisbon.
Dublin. Adrian, what nationality is Formula One motor racing champion Michael Schumacher?
German.
Correct. Roy,
Bank.
introduced in the mid-1950s, what sort of musical instrument is a Fender Stratocaster?
It's a guitar.
Correct, Anna.
Bank.
How fast must an object travel to escape the Earth's gravity? 20,000 or 40,000 kilometres per hour?
40,000.
Correct, Carol. In religion, what C is an ankle-length garment often worn by clergymen?
Cassock.
Time is up. It was the correct answer, but you are out of time. And in that round, you did marginally better. You managed to put in your bank £390. But who is well past their best? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
The strongest link is Anna, having got all her questions correct and banked the most money. For the second time, Carol is the weakest link. But will the voting reflect this?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Adrian.
Carol.
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 Susan.
Roy. Why Carol?
We had a bad round previously, and I think this was another one.
How much did you bank in that round, Roy?
£20, I think.
Carol banked £100. Statistically, Carol, you were the worst player, and with 4 votes, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I think I'm very lucky to have actually stayed on the podium as long as I did. I hope Adrian wins, because he's very good looking. And I'd like to see more of him on the show, rather than come off now.
Round 5. If you'd hit your targets by now, you would have £4,000 in the bank. In fact, you have only 1,330. There are 5 players left, another 10 seconds coming off the time. We start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Anna. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Anna, which Republican did JFK defeat in the 1960 American presidential election?
Nixon.
Correct. Nick, which British daily newspaper features the Fred Bassett cartoon strip?
Daily Mail.
Correct. Susan, in which year did the hovercraft cease cross-channel services?
Year 2000.
Correct. Adrian.
Bank.
In food, antipasto is the Italian term for which course of a meal?
Starter.
Correct. Roy, which British athlete won the gold in the women's heptathlon at the 2000 Sydney Olympic Games?
Lewis.
Denise Lewis. Anna, which 2 colours make up the Greek national flag?
Blue and white.
Correct. Nick, which Victorian author wrote the novel Vanity Fair, first published in 1847?
Dickens.
Thackeray. Susan, osier is the name given to twigs from which genus of tree when used in basket making?
Willow.
Correct. Adrian, what do the letters FAO stand for when written on a fax?
For the attention of.
Correct. Roy, in which 1970s TV comedy series did Reg Varney star as bus driver Stan Butler?
On the buses.
Correct. Anna, the Cape of Good Hope is a headland on the coast of which country?
South Africa.
Correct. Nick,
Bank.
in science, which term is used to describe the lowest temperature that can theoretically be attained?
Absolute zero.
Correct. Susan, were Britain's first basic state old age pensions established in the first or second decade of the 20th century?
The second decade.
First. Adrian, in human biology, is amblyopia a loss of hearing, sight or taste?
Sight.
Correct. Roy, Moccasin shoes are part of the traditional costume of which people?
American Indians.
Correct. Anna, what M is used to describe a cinema with a large number of screens?
Multiplex.
Correct. Nick, which Canadian writer wrote Anne of Green Gables?
Pass.
Lucy Maud Montgomery. Susan, in which decade was polythene discovered?
1930s.
Correct. Adrian, which Rodgers and Hammerstein musical is named after a fairground attraction?
Carousel.
Correct. Roy,
Bang.
which creatures would an apiculturist keep?
Bees.
Correct. Anna, in economics, for what do the letters ERM stand?
European exchange rate mechanism.
I have to take your first answer. It's exchange rate mechanism. Nick, in architecture, what A is the name given to an arched or domed recess at the east end of a church? Time is up, and after all that work, you managed to bank £470. Who is here who shouldn't be? One of you is about to leave with nothing. It's time to vote off the weakest link.
With the most questions incorrect, Nick is the weakest link. Statistically, Adrian is the strongest player for the second time in the game. But how will the voting go?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Roy.
Nick.
Nick.
Susan.
Nick.
Adrian, what did Nick do that you didn't like?
I think Nick had two awful literature questions and they just fell onto him. I think that was a shame.
Could you have answered them?
No. And he lost quite a bit of money on the first one.
Anna, why Nick?
I think he got the most questions wrong out of all of us.
Right. Nick, interesting vote you have there for somebody who, in fact, didn't get any questions wrong in the last round.
No, I know, but I've been meaning to vote for him all evening, and I thought I might as well because I knew I'd done so dreadfully.
Quite rightly, you know that statistically you were the worst player, and with 3 votes you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I honestly didn't know the answers to those literary questions. I did bank more money than I think anybody has through the show so far. So naturally disappointed, but it's not one of those unfair situations.
Round 6. You could have had £5,000 in the bank by now. In fact, you've got just 1,800. There are 4 of you left. We are cutting another 10 seconds from your time. We start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Adrian. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Adrian, in history, in which 1848 text did Karl Marx write the spectre of communism was haunting Europe?
Pass.
The Communist Manifesto. Roy, which castle is home to the Earls of Groan in Mervyn Peake's novels?
Wishart.
Gormenghast. Anna, the term for which extinct reptiles comes from the Greek for terrible lizard?
Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Dinosaurs. Susan, the film Quadrophenia was based on which rock band's best-selling album?
The Who.
Correct. Adrian, in human biology, which is the longer, the large or small intestine?
Small.
Correct. Roy, which Hollywood actress starred in Steven Spielberg's E.T. when she was only 7?
Celine Dion.
Drew Barrymore. Anna, in geography, how many continental land masses lie entirely in the southern hemisphere?
4.
2. Susan, in 1707, did the Act of Union unite England with Scotland or Wales?
Scotland.
Correct. Adrian, which Australian film actress starred in the West End production of The Blue Room in 1998?
Nicole Kidman.
Correct. Roy, the Egyptian plover is a bird reputed to pick decayed food and grubs from the mouth of which creature?
The rhinoceros.
The crocodile. Anna, on which 1960s US sitcom did Jed Clampett strike oil and move his family from the country to the city?
Hillbillies.
The Beverly Hillbillies. Susan, in theatre, which 19th century Norwegian playwright wrote the drama Peer Gynt?
Ibsen.
Correct. Adrian, what nationality is the operatic tenor Jose Carreras?
Italian.
Spanish. Roy, in Britain, which day marks the start of the grouse shooting season?
The glorious 12th of August.
Correct. Anna, in fashion, is a baggy sweater known as a sloppy Joe or a sloppy Jim?
Sloppy Joe.
Correct. Susan, in
Bank.
geography, in which country is the city of Casablanca?
Morocco.
Correct. Adrian, the name of which Italian politician and author born in 1469 is synonymous with a moral cunning?
Mussolini?
Machiavelli. Roy, in which Lethal Weapon film did Patsy Kensit star as Mel Gibson's love interest?
Pass.
Lethal Weapon 2. Anna, in Humans, what specific... Time is up. I cannot complete the question, and in that round you did even more spectacularly badly than you have done in any other previous round. You managed to put in your kitty just £50. Who is now completely out of their depth? Who needs to be dispatched without delay? It's time to vote off.
At this crucial stage, Susan is the strongest link, having answered all her questions correctly. Roy is the weakest link. But will the other players have realised this?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Adrian.
Roy.
Anna.
Roy.
That was a disastrous round. £50. Anna, why Roy?
I think I had a really bad round, but I think he got a few questions wrong as well. I think because he's before me, I realised that he's getting questions wrong.
Right. Adrian, glad to see the back of Roy?
I thought I struggled through that round, and I thought Roy struggled, so it had to be Roy.
Right. Statistically, Roy, you were the worst player in that round. And with 2 votes, you are the weakest link. Bye.
Well, having got past the first round, I think anything else was a bonus. I did know that my knowledge of films and pop in particular is poor, and we had a significant proportion in that round, so I was ready to jump in the lifeboat, I must admit.
Round 7 in the bank is £1,850. If you'd hit your targets, that figure would be £6,000. 3 of you left, another 10 seconds coming off the clock. We start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Susan. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Susan, what A is a trinket or jewel worn as a protection against evil?
Amulet.
Correct. Adrian, in maths, add the number of Snow White's dwarfs to the number of degrees in a right angle.
97.
Correct. Anna, what was the name of Frank Spencer's wife in the 1970s sitcom Some
Betty.
Mothers Do Have 'Em? Correct. Susan, in geography, in which US state would you find Tulsa?
Arizona.
Oklahoma. Adrian, the IBF, WBO and WBC are governing bodies in which sport?
Boxing.
Correct. Anna, what artistic movement was headed by André Breton in the 1920s and followed on from Dadaism?
Fauvism.
Surrealism. Susan, in humans, in what part of the body would you find the talus?
Talus. In the hand.
The foot. Adrian, what is the name of the palace in Woodstock Park near Oxford?
Blenheim.
Correct. Anna, how were the Chinese forced to wear their hair by their Manchu conquerors until 1912?
Long.
In a pigtail. Susan, is Papua New Guinea situated directly north of Australia or New Zealand?
North of Australia.
Correct. Adrian, in theatre, which venue is the London home of the Royal Shakespeare Company?
The Barbican.
Correct. Anna,
Bang.
in pop music, sisters Nicole and Natalie Appleton are members of which girl group?
All Saints.
Correct. Susan, in mythology, which time of the day is the Greek goddess Eos said to personify?
The night.
Dawn. Adrian, in nature, does the larch tree keep or lose its needles during the winter?
Losers.
Correct. Anna, in history, in which year did South Yemen declare its independence from the British, in 1947 or 1967?
47.
1967. Susan, in humans, arteriography is the X-ray examination of what part of the body?
The arteries.
Correct. Adrian, in cooking, what F can be described as an open pastry or sponge case containing a sweet or savoury filling?
Philo.
Flan. Anna, in what sport do players contest rucks and mauls? Time is up. The correct answer to that question was rugby union. And another disastrous round, team. Another £50 only in the kitty. Now, let me tell you about round 8. You get the chance to treble what you bank, and that means in the next round, there's £3,000 to be won. The question is, who is least likely to get that bank balance up as high as it can possibly be? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
For the third time, Adrian is the strongest player. This time Anna is the weakest link, having got the least number of questions correct. But will the voting follow the facts?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Adrian.
Susan.
Susan.
Right. Adrian, why Susan?
I think it was very close between Susan and Anna in the last round, and Susan voted for me in the round before, so Susan got it.
Right. Anna, what did Susan do?
Adrian had a really good round, and so I had to pick Susan.
Right. Well, it is votes that count. Susan, with 2 votes, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Thanks for nothing, guys.
I'm very irritated at getting voted off that round because I felt I was the strongest link. I voted for Adrian fairly because overall Anna had got more questions right over all the rounds, and I think there was probably some tactical voting went on there.
Round 18. You have won just £1,900, so we are not falling over with amazement or admiration. You could by now have won £7,000. Anna and Adrian, just the 2 of you left, and this time you have only 90 seconds. But whatever you win in this round will be trebled and added to your total to make up your final prize money. So £3,000 is at stake in this round. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Adrian. Let's play the weakest link. Start the top. Adrian, approximately how long does it take the planet Jupiter to orbit the Sun once? 5 years or 12 years?
12 years.
Correct. Anna, in the 1997 film Men in Black, who played Agent J?
Will Smith.
Correct. Adrian, which animals, male and female, are called Jack and Jenny?
Worm.
Ass or donkey? Anna, in what 1960s TV cowboy series did Clint Eastwood star as Rowdy Yates alongside Eric Fleming as Gil Favor?
Rawhide.
Correct. Adrian, which religious movement was founded in the USA in 1830 by Joseph Smith?
Quakers.
Mormonism. Anna, in football, which was the first British club to win the European Cup?
Celtic.
Correct. Adrian, Oxford University and the Royal Engineers were winners of what competition in 1874 and 1875 respectively?
Pass.
The FA Cup. Anna, the Union Jack flag combines the crosses of 3 saints, George, Andrew and whom?
David.
Patrick. Adrian, in classical music, which Italian composer wrote the opera La Traviata in 1853?
Verdi.
Correct. Anna, in computer technology, for what do the initials AI stand?
Artificial intelligence.
Correct. Adrian, in darts, how many points would you score if you hit 18, double, 15 and 7?
Pass.
55. Anna, in TV, which US sitcom created spin-offs, Mork and Mindy and Laverne and Shirley? Time is up. The answer is Happy Days, and you certainly didn't make it to £1,000 in that round, team. You banked just £20. Never mind, we'll treble that and add it to the winnings from the previous rounds. That means prize money today of £1,960. But of course, only one of you can take that money away. So now you will be playing against each other head to head. I'll ask alternate questions. It's the best of 5. Whoever answers the most correctly wins. It's as simple as that. If there's a tie after 5, we'll go for sudden death until we have a winner. So, Anna and Adrian, for £1,960, let's play the weakest link. Anna, as the strongest link in the last round, you have the choice of who goes first.
I'll go first, please.
Anna, in Scotland, the first visitor to a house on New Year's Day is known as what?
The first stepper.
The correct answer is first footer. Adrian, in 1975, which film based on a Ken Kessie novel won 5 Oscars?
Kes?
The correct answer is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Anna, Earth pig is the Afrikaans name given to which termite-eating animal?
Aardvark.
That is the correct answer. Adrian, in geography, which Eastern European capital city is often dubbed the Pearl of the Danube?
Budapest.
That is the correct answer. At this stage, you are level pegging. The American World War II bomber plane, the Boeing B-29, was known by what name?
The Brown Bomber.
The Super Fortress is the correct answer. Adrian, what is the name of the 1959 Keith Waterhouse novel about a youth who escapes his dull life through fantasies?
I don't know.
Correct answer is Billy Liar. Anna, in food, what 2 words is the name Spam derived from?
Spanish ham.
The correct answer is spiced ham. Adrian, in jazz, which male singer and band leader who died in 1994 was best known for his song Minnie the Moocher?
Scott Joplin.
The correct answer is Cab Calloway. Anna, which artist painted Guernica in 1937 as a protest against the violence of war on innocent people?
Picasso.
That is the correct answer. Adrian, you have to answer this question correctly to stay in the game. Off the coast of which southern UK island would you find the Needles?
The Isle of Wight.
That is the correct answer. After 5 questions, we have a tie. We now go into a sudden death situations. The questions will continue in pairs. Anna, if you get your question correct, then Adrian will have to answer his correctly or he'll lose. And if you get your question wrong, Anna, then Adrian will have to answer his correctly to win. So, Anna and Adrian, let's play sudden death. Anna, which US World War II general was known as Blood and Guts?
No, I don't know.
The answer is General George Smith Patton. Adrian, if you answer this question correctly, you go home with £1,960. Who is said to have proved the presence of electricity in lightning by an experiment with a kite in 1752?
Benjamin Franklin.
That is the correct answer. That means, Adrian, you are today's strongest link and you go away with £1,960. Anna, you leave with nothing. Join us again for the weakest link. Goodbye.
I think there are a lot of people that were very good and deserved to win. I think Jimmy and Roy, I think Susan and Nick were very good, and I think Anna was very good all the way to the end as well.
He was very strong all the way through the game and was the strongest link in a couple of the rounds. And so, yeah, I think on the whole he did deserve to win, yeah.
I feel really pleased to have won. I thought I had a few really bad rounds and I'm glad to get through. I'm really glad that I've got the money.